I'm a psychological counselor in prison, specializing in providing psychological counseling to death row inmates before they are executed. But one of them left a particularly deep impression on me. At that time, I didn't even know whether I was trying to guide him or he was trying to guide me, just because he proved to me with his death the authenticity of the story he told me. After graduating from college in 2005, I was assigned to the Education and Reform Department of a men's prison in a mountainous area in southwestern China and became a psychological counselor. My daily job is to provide psychological education to inmates and help them correct their bad psychology so that they can better participate in reform. There is a prisoner named Chen Yuan, who was not originally my focus. He was sentenced to suspended death for intentional homicide and has been serving his sentence for more than a year. His behavior is quite satisfactory and not active, but he obeys orders and never interacts with others. There was a conflict. He is usually taciturn, and there is no confusion among a group of prisoners with complicated situations. As long as he remains calm for a few more months, Chen Yuan can pass the probation period and be commuted to life imprisonment. But something changed. Some time ago, Chen Yuan suddenly violently attacked his roommate. He used unilateral violence and punched him in fatal places. He was seriously injured and died in more than 10 seconds. The police officers on duty did not respond in time. With his well-behaved behavior over the past year, people almost forgot that Chen Yuan was a murderer and a murderer. He was only able to get a 2-year reprieve because of the defender's flattery. Now Chen Yuan has finally come to the end he deserves. He intentionally committed a crime during the probation period, and the circumstances were so egregious that there was no need for any further reprieve. The death penalty has become a certainty. After the verdict came down, we notified the prisoner one day in advance. Chen Yuan learned that the last 24 hours of his life had been clearly arranged. Tomorrow, he can meet with his relatives, take a refreshing bath, eat a good meal, receive psychological counseling, and then be identified and handed over for execution. Chen Yuan showed a strange expression and said nothing. I asked, "Do you have any questions?" "No." The next day, Chen Yuan was taken to the death penalty prison, and I, as a psychological counselor, also had to accompany him. Relatives can be arranged to meet before execution, but Chen Yuan is an orphan and has no family members. No one had ever visited him before, and no one was saying goodbye to him now. The only person Yi Yuan had contact with was a male friend named He Wenqi. They corresponded every 2 months. Letters from inmates must be reviewed to ensure that content is normal before they can be transmitted. The purpose of writing a letter to Yuan is to ask how the other person and his family are doing, and then the other person will answer in detail. There is nothing wrong with the content of the letter, but there is something strange between the lines. After careful consideration, the colleagues in the mailroom discovered the subtle intimacy between them, which did not seem like ordinary friends. From this, they came to a shocking conclusion.